Hello everyone and welcome to or back to Tahari Talks, your therapy in addition to the therapy, where we get your mental and your spiritual right all at the very same time. I'm so excited to be sitting in front of y'all. Welcome to episode 41, titled Are You in Position? Before we get into today's topic, all of the goods, be sure to hit the subscribe button if this is your first time tuning in, or if you've been tuning in but you've yet to subscribe. Go ahead, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button as well as your bell notification so that you don't miss out on anything as it relates to Tahari Talks episodes. If you're listening on any of the audio only platforms, thank you so much for tuning in and being here. I'm Briana Tahari and I upload new episodes lately as often as I can on different topics to help me, you, and us get and keep our lives together. Be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is a great place to be because it absolutely is. And without further ado, let's get right into this episode. I mentioned in the last episode that this topic was on the way because I know I had been planning to talk about it for a while. And I really wanted to get on here, especially with this new topic, before we jump into a new year. And also before I drop this baby. And just to let y'all into the personal business, my body is literally dilated as we speak, preparing to go in at any moment. But that's how committed I was to sitting down and filming this episode. I'm like, no, I just need baby to give me one more good filming day because I gotta get these topics and these episodes out. So we're gonna knock 41 and 42 out because I needed to get this to y'all, because once she's here, I don't know how quickly I'll be able to get back in front of the camera with the mic on, and I need y'all to have this information before 2026 hits, before a new year hits. So many people wait until the new year to get in position for their goals and what they want out of the new year and what they want out of life in general. We make the vision boards at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, and rarely do we think about the fact that we have to start now. Like, you cannot wait until it's right in front of you, until January 1st, until whatever your new era, your new chapter looks like. You cannot wait until you get to day one of that new chapter to get in position or to get yourself prepared for the thing. You have to put yourself in position way before it's time for the blessing to actualize, for the thing to actualize and materialize into your hand. So my question to you is simply, are you in position? Not waiting to get in position, not saying I'll get in position when the thing happens, but in position already, before you can see it, before you can feel it, before you can taste it. That's what I want you to reflect on. I've spoken in past episodes about how this pregnancy has taught me so many things beyond the natural realm, as far as the spiritual, mental. Like, it's just taken me through it in every way possible, and not just in the ways that are tiresome, but also in ways that are pivotal and have changed the way that I view things. And one of those ways is getting in position. I'm going to give birth any day now. Long before we made it to this point, my baby was in position. She was head down. She's been head down for at least 10 weeks now. And that gave me a sense of peace, knowing that she was in position long before it was time for her to be birthed. She was in position long before her organs finished fully developing enough for her to be into the outside world. She was in position long before it was time for my medical staff to help assist me to bringing her into this world. She was in position long before God said it was time for her to come into this world. Even fetuses know that it's mandatory to get into position before it's time for the thing to be birthed. Imagine if she will wait until now. And that is the case for a lot of mothers, where they don't know if their baby's going to turn in time. They don't know if the baby is going to be born breech. And when that baby is not in position, that presents a whole new layers of risk that are associated with your birth, with your labor, with your delivery, simply because positioning prepares you for the manifestation of the thing. Are you in the proper position that it takes for the thing to happen? Is she in proper position that's necessary for a healthy, natural vaginal birth? But with her being in position, it's one less thing to consider. It's one less thing to be anxious about, knowing that she's in position, she's been in position, she's staying in position. And because of that, the birth, her entrance into this world will be another notch smoother, simply because she's been in position for so long. And that's how we have to start to see the things that we're trying to achieve and to unlock, and the people that we're trying to become. Be in position to become that person, to achieve that thing long before you have it in your hand. I've also had some life happenings that reminded me of this episode before I was planning it. For example, I ordered some smoothies on Tropical Smoothie Cafe, and if anybody's familiar with that process, really any food or curbside or pickup app, they tell you the time that the thing will be ready. So it's not a guessing game. You know an estimate of when your order will be ready. And so it said that I needed to arrive at a certain time. And once I saw that time, I made sure that I was in position in front of the smoothie shop in the time that they told me to be there. there. And the tropical smoothie that I went to, it has a huge window. You can park right in front of the building so you can see when your order comes up on the shelf. I had ordered a regular size smoothie and a kid size smoothie, but when I pulled up at the time that I was supposed to be there, it was 2 big smoothies and it was no other orders up. So I'm like, I'm here at the time I'm supposed to be here, a little before I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not seeing the thing that I thought was supposed to be here waiting for me when I arrive. Stay with me. There's 2 bigger smoothies instead of a big one and a kid one. But I go inside anyway because that's the time that I was supposed to be in position at Tropical Smoothie. So once I arrive inside, I realized that they decided to bless for whatever reason. I don't know if the smoothie ran over in the blender that day, but they decided to bless with 2 regular sizes for the price of a regular and a kid size smoothie. Had I not been in position to receive the thing that I thought that I would have received, and if I was waiting for it to look a certain way to be in position for the blessing, I would have missed out on the blessing of having an upgraded size, an upgraded drink, of having abundance of smoothie, but attach it to whatever your thing is, because I was not in position. And while it's a very surface version of it, it's a reminder that all we have to do is be in position. The blessing may come in a bigger size than we think, in more abundance than we think. It may not look exactly how we anticipate it, but it's ours because it has our name on it and we were in position to receive the thing. Because I was in position, I received a greater blessing than I was anticipating at the appointed time still that I was supposed to receive it. Another example, my kids are always asking for something because that's just what children do. My son was asking me for a snack. This is why we're always reminded to have childlike faith, because as soon as he asked me for it, it was something that I had to pour into a bowl. I cannot remember the exact snack, but I remember the reference and the story and the parable that goes along with it. I saw a comment today that said kids are like walking parables, and they absolutely are, because the minute he asked me for the snack, I got the bowl out and he went and stood in front of it. The bowl was empty. There was no snack in it, but he knew, he had faith. He trusted that I was going to give him what he asked for because he asked for it and he put himself in position to receive. And again, that's just a reminder, a simple thing that goes to show how we complicate things that are very simple. Position yourself to receive what you've asked for. And that's the crazy part about it too. The things that we're refusing to position ourselves for are the things, the very same things that we've asked for. We ask for it and then we neglect to get ready for it. We ask for it and then we're wondering why we feel like it's on hold. It's on hold because you're not ready for it. You haven't positioned yourself for it. You haven't become the person who is ready for it. But we're going to get into that as well. And then same thing as it relates to my daughter. I remember a time where we had ordered some type of dessert. I ordered it ahead and I pull up to the place at the time that we were supposed to be, a few minutes early before we were supposed to be there. I know it's like, girl, are you always pre-ordering food? Absolutely. Pregnancy, not trying to get these kids out the car. I absolutely am. But anyways, we pulled up a little bit early and her question to me was, Mom, you brought me here just to wait? We do God the same way. You brought me here just to wait. I'm waiting on the thing. I'm waiting. I'm trying to receive. And this is when we put ourselves in position enough. We're in the location that we're supposed to be. Maybe it's not the appointed time because there are still things that have to be worked in and through us. But we ask God, like, you brought me here just to wait. You put me in this waiting season. What's happening? What's happening? Whole time, you're just getting in position. It's coming at the appointed time, at the time that he always said it would, because he's not a man that he shall lie. But you have to be in position for the thing to come. That's what you're supposed to be doing. How many times has he waited on us when we took forever in a day to get right, or took forever in a day to be obedient to the thing that he asked us to do? And so with that being said, a few natural examples out of the way, let's get right into the spiritual. Honestly, part of the reason why we're reluctant to get in position is because our faith doesn't match what we say. We say we have all of this faith. We trust God. We know he's going to do it. All of the cliche church sayings that you were taught to repeat. But if your faith matched what you professed, if your faith matched what you say that you believe, then what would be stopping you from positioning yourself and preparing yourself to be where you know that God said you're going? We want to see it before we move. We're always trying to test God and prove him. Show me just a little bit and then I'll take the step. Show me just a little bit and then I'll take the leap. Make it secure across the pond before I make the little jump that I'm supposed to make. Give me security in the next season before I leave what's safe behind. Before I leave the safety that I'm currently standing in. And that's not how it works. True. I'm a testament. And a lot of times God is waiting on us. Just like I said, he's waiting on us to move, waiting on us to position ourselves. And with God is one of the few times where we play with that. When you're waiting to see your favorite celebrity in concert, where you at? In position on that line hours before the show starts. When you're waiting in line to get that Black Friday deal, well, people don't really do that anymore. Those sneakers, maybe if that's your thing, where are you? In position long before that drop happens, long before the store door opens. Before that plane takes off, where are you? Comfy in your seat, arriving to the airport 2 hours early to make sure you don't miss that flight. But before that plane takes off, where are you? In position in your assigned seat with your seatbelt on, might even be peacefully knocked out, putting all your trust in a pilot that you haven't even seen today. But you're in position because you know that's the time that is said that you were taking off, and you need to be in position in order for that flight to take off. Why do we play with God when it comes to getting in position for the things that he said that we're about to acquire and the places that he said we're about to go? Ooh. I had a dream a couple of months ago, and my bishop, my uncle, was prophesying to me, and he was like, the blessing's ready. It's been ready. All you got to do is get in position to receive it. God got it ready in his hand, ready to give to you, but he's waiting for you. And I believe that goes to speak for a lot of us and where we are in this season. Will you become the person that's in position to receive the blessing? Another thing that I think prevents us from getting in position is that we avoid and run from long suffering as if it is a plague. A lot of us do not have the tenacity to suffer for long. We feel like, oh, if I get in position, it doesn't happen tomorrow, then it's all for naught. Do you really have it in you to suffer long for the promises of the things that God said he would do in your life? That makes me think of a verse in 1 Timothy 18 through 19. Let me go to it. Here it is. It's 1 Timothy 1:18 through 19. It says, Timothy, my son, I am giving you this command in keeping with the prophecies once made about you, so that by recalling them, you may fight the battle well, holding on to faith and a good conscience, which some have rejected and so have suffered shipwreck with regard to the faith. And the note that I put is, recall the prophecies made about you, fight the battle well, hold on to faith and good conscience. Because for many of us, we know the things that have been spoken over our lives. We know the things that God has poured directly into us about our life and about our path. But it's so easy to forget when we're in the middle of long suffering, or when we're in waiting, when we're working on positioning ourselves, that we forget the promise because we can't see it, we can't feel it, it's not in our hand yet. And so that's just something good to meditate on, to remind you to remember the prophecies. When you get short on energy, when you get short on faith, remember the things that have been spoken. There's so many times where I'm in the middle of storms and seasons that feel hard and feel tough, and I literally have to go back to times where prophecies have been spoken over me, to times where in prayer God has revealed things to me and said things to me and made promises to me, and hold on to those. And those are the things that get me through. Those are the things that keep me fighting. Those are the things that give me the strength to surrender when I'm trying to move in my own strength and I'm not supposed to. And so naturally, we just jumped into our first verse, but I do have two more that I want to share with y'all. So the second one is Proverbs 24:27. Proverbs 24:27 says, put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. Reminding us that preparation comes before the construction. You have to prepare a blueprint before you can't just go outside and say, I'm gonna build a house with no plan, no blueprint, no architectural structure in mind. Alignment comes before elevation. You're not going to elevate without getting aligned for the thing that you're elevating to. And this verse is literally reminding us to get in position before the thing happens. Straight to the point. The third verse is Joshua 3:5. It says, Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. So God is telling his people in this verse, get ready today, because tomorrow something great is coming. Not get ready tomorrow for tomorrow, but get ready a day ahead, because the thing is happening tomorrow. And that's a reminder that preparation is prophetic obedience. Imagine how much more obedient we would be if God literally audibly always spoke to us and said, on this day is going to happen. Baby, we would be getting our house in order, getting our lives in order, getting our character in order, forgiving people who we haven't forgave in years to come, letting go of grudges and unforgiveness and offense, doing all of the things because he's given us something practical, something concrete to look for. But he's not going to do that. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be the way that it unfolds. It's going to unfold in you positioning yourself and proving faithful, proving that you're able to suffer long, proving that you deserve and are ready for the blessings that are to come. And how do you do that? I'm so glad you asked. Let's get into the practical and we're going to talk about it. First things first, I want you to do the backwards math. What are you talking about, girl? If you're a mom, if you're just type A period, you know, you do backwards math to get out the house. I got to be at the event at 10 o'clock, so I need to be out the door by 9:15 if it's 30 minutes away to make sure I could do what I need to do before I go into the event. And then I need to be downstairs eating breakfast by 9 o'clock. I need to be in the shower by 8 o'clock, so I need to be up by a smooth 7:50. We do backwards math in our everyday lives all the time. Do the backwards math on positioning yourself for promises. If this is what the promise is, if this is what I would like to achieve, if this is what the goal is, I arrive at this person. Where does that person start? I want to be a successful content creator, but you haven't even started planning the episode, recording one episode, looking into what device are you going to shoot the video on? Where does that successful content creator begin? I want to be my most fit self. Where does that person begin? Take a walk around the neighborhood. Take a few steps around the house. Go up and down the stairs in your house a few times. Walk around the apartment a few times. Where does that person start? Do you increase your steps on your Apple Watch? Do you close your rings for the day? How does the most fit version of yourself begin? I want a promotion at work or a promotion in the organization that I've given all this time to, but you haven't shown up in a way that's consistent. You're calling out of work, but you want a promotion. You're not showing up to the meetings, but you want to be high rank in the organization. How does the person at the end goal begin? You don't just arrive there. There are steps between you today, and the person that you're on the way to becoming. I also want you to ask yourself, if the blessing dropped in my lap today, would I even know what to do with it? 8 times out of 10, the answer is probably no. And that's the whole point, which is why we have to map it backwards and be honest with ourselves. Who is the version of me that can sustain and steward that blessing well? What habits does he or she have? What does their day look like? What don't they tolerate anymore that I may be tolerating right now? You're not becoming the future version of yourself when the future comes or later on. You start becoming that person now with small and consistent habits that eventually transform you into that person. So do that backwards math and see what you come up with. Start small, start simple, start attainable, and watch the changes that come. Y'all don't always talk about Atomic Habits, but that book title seems fitting to just interject right there. If you haven't checked it out, get through that book before the new year comes. Second, y'all know I'm gonna always advocate for this, but clean up what you've been avoiding. And I don't just mean in your physical space. Blessings do not sit on top of clutter. They won't even come in with the clutter. They don't want no parts of the clutter. So clean it up, whether it be emotional clutter, financial clutter, relationship clutter, spiritual clutter. That thing that you keep avoiding decluttering is blocking your next level. Get it out of the way. The conversation you need to have, the bill that you need to take care of, the boundary that you need to set, the unfinished task that's hoarding mental space in your brain. And when you clear that space, you create room for the blessing to land safely, effectively, without a bunch of stuff trying to choke it. That just reminds me, I'm reading through Luke for the month of December. I saw this plan that a friend posted, and I was like, oh, this will be really good. It's 25 chapters, and on December 25th, you end Luke, essentially. I've read through it before, but I was going back through it, and I was at the part where Jesus talks about the parable of the seed, and the farmer that puts the seed in good ground, the farmer that puts it amongst the soil, the farmer that puts it amongst weed, and it ends up being choked up. That's how it is when we live in clutter, or when we exist in clutter, even if the clutter isn't physical. The seeds that are being planted cannot sprout effectively because they're not planted on good soil. They're planted amongst weeds, clutter, things that are blocking that seed from being able to grow properly, healthily, successfully. But the seeds that were planted amongst the good soil, the clear soil, the healthy soil, they sprout and produce a harvest 100 times over because there's nothing in its way. It's good soil. It's being planted well. And that's what you want to create in your life. Make a life that is indicative of good soil. Number 3, and I've said this one before as well, but it applies here, create systems, not just intentions. You can intend all day long, but if you don't have the infrastructure to maintain the blessing well, then you will either never come into it, or it's going to fall in your lap and fall right through your fingertips at the very same time or not long after. Intentions feel good. They feed our ego. They make it seem like we're going to do when we do, but systems actually prepare you and get you ready. So what routine supports the blessing? What structure keeps you consistent even when you lack motivation or the motivation dips? What tools and processes do you need to implement right now so that you're not overwhelmed tomorrow? Because again, if God handed you the blessing right now, do you have the infrastructure to sustain and hold it? And if not, you need to get in the lab and start building it. Similar to decluttering, I want you to focus on upgrading your environment to match where you're going. Environment is like a silent mentor. Your environment is either preparing you, delaying you, holding you stagnant. And I want you to ask yourself in regards to your environment, does your circle support your calling? Does your circle match your calling? Are the voices around you feeding your faith or your fears? Wise counsel. I talked about that in the last episode. If you have not yet, check out the silent season episode 40. Does my home, my schedule, my digital space even support the person that I'm becoming? Because positioning just isn't about what's happening on the inside. It's about your environment as well, and whether it's supporting where you're going or whether it's holding you back. And last but not least, I want you to practice the blessing in small ways now. You may not have fully entered into the era or walked into the position, walked into the blessing yet, but typically before the big blessing arrives, God is testing us in small ways to see if we're prepared, to see if we're in position. What do you mean? What are some examples? If you say you want peace and that's the goal, then start practicing moments of silence or moments of quiet now. If you say you want success, show up with excellence in the small things, in the small tasks, in the small assignments, in the things that you've been trusted with right now. If you want abundance, practice generosity with what you already have. God isn't going to give you abundance for you to keep your fist clenched up. Be generous in the ways that you can right now to show that your heart is in the right position, because that's another thing we don't talk about enough. Our mind could be in the right position. Our environment could be in the right position. Our friend and social circle could be in the right position. But if your heart isn't positioned well and postured well, then none of it means anything, because you won't be able to sustain the things that you're asking for. If you want opportunity, show up prepared even when you don't think anybody is watching you. Ultimately, the one who can make it happen is watching. He sees, he knows, and he'll test your heart no matter what's coming out your mouth or no matter what you're showing to other people. He knows where your heart is. So show up true in that. And all of these things are simply like training your spirit for the weight of what's to come. Can you handle it? Are you ready for it? And when it comes, most importantly, can you sustain it? Can you multiply it? Whew. So that is all for this episode. I really pray that this gave you a lot of meat to chew on, a lot to meditate on before the new year touches down. Hopefully it motivates you to get in position for the places that you're on your way to, for the blessings that are to come. I hope that there's something that you can find in it and from it. And if so, be sure to share it with somebody that you know will find it helpful as well. So before we close this episode on out, let's pray and then we'll be on our way. Bow your head, close your eyes. Let's get right into it. God, I thank you for every single individual that is on the other side of my voice. I thank you for bringing them to this information, and I thank you for using me as your vessel to deliver it. I thank you for all the promises that have been spoken over our lives through you, and I thank you for all of the ways that you are about to show up and show out in our lives. I thank you for giving us the motivation, for giving us the tools, and for giving us revelation for the ways that we are to position ourselves for the things that are to come. Thank you for giving us the surrender to allow you to work in us the things that need to be transformed. Thank you for giving us access to people who are willing to support our vision and to support your will for our lives. Thank you for giving us clarity and vision as it relates to where you are taking us. And thank you for allowing us to get out of our own heads and out of our own ways to get in position for the things that you have to come for us. I thank you for being God in our lives. I thank you for continuing to protect and keep your hand over us. And I ask that you would continue to do so like only you can. And it is in your name I do pray. Amen. Once again, I do pray that this episode blessed you, it helped you, and continues to do so as far as your personal journey. If so, be sure to share some love in the comments below. It will not be long before we're back for episode 42 of Tahari Talks. So until then, take great care of yourself, and I will see you in it later.